So before the break, we showed you how cryptocurrencies were powering higher today. Bitcoin, Ether, Litecoin, XRP, all of them are in the green. Meanwhile, investor interest in Ether. Ether's the second most popular digital currency behind Bitcoin, has skyrocketed after the SEC approval of a spot Ether ETF. Now, those aren't trading yet, but according to CoinShares, over the past week, Ethereum has seen $33.5 million worth of inflows, which has pushed its total monthly inflows to over 21 million. Pending one last SEC approval, the spot Ether ETFs are set to begin trading maybe as early as next month. So here's the question. Is the dam now opening, and could XRP, that's the cryptocurrency used on Ripple's money transfer network, be the next to flow into the ETF market? Joining me now, live in a Fox Business exclusive, is Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse, in studio no less. Let's get to Ether first. Word on the street is that that spot Ether ETF is going to come alive. It's alive next month, as early as next month, maybe July. Who knows? What do you think?
I think that's right. And I think it is a big deal just in terms of further opening the markets to more people who want to access it. Obviously, the Bitcoin ETF went live in January. And you saw 10 billion. I mean, it took, I think, 2 months to reach the same level it took gold's ETF to reach over like a year. So the interest in this space remains very, very high. And I think the ETH ETF will do extremely well. What
do you think is behind the SEC becoming, let's just call it more pragmatic about cryptocurrency ETFs and the approval process?
Well, I think the first thing is they've lost a lot in court. And so, you know, they really got dragged kicking and screaming across the line to get the Bitcoin ETF live. And I think they realized that if they were going to drag their feet and fight around the ETH ETF, that likely the same outcome was going to happen. And I mean, it's frustrating that we have to go through the courts to get those positive outcomes. The United States should be investing in these technologies. We should be embracing these from a job creation, from a technical innovation. And unfortunately, this SEC has been fighting it, you know, every step of the way.
I've known you for, I don't know, 7 years now. And back then, y'all didn't have that loud a voice.
For sure.
It feels like you do now. So what about an XRP ETF? You were speaking at the Consensus 2024 conference just a week ago, and
right.
You said inevitable, not just for XRP, but Solana and Cardano, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
But XRP in particular, the SEC has tried to throw you down in court.
Yeah.
Don't you think that Gensler and company might just say, no, that one, no way?
I think it's a hard argument for them to win. I mean, can they make life difficult? They've made life difficult for a lot of people, then they've lost in court. What I was talking about at the Consensus conference last week in Austin was that people don't want just exposure to one commodity. So if you have exposure to gold, you might want exposure to silver. If you have exposure to other commodities. And so to me, it only makes sense. You don't want to have just a single threaded asset exposure. So I think people also forget that it wasn't that long ago, before the SEC got involved, that XRP was the second most valuable digital asset. And that was before the SEC kind of anointed ETH. Then they couldn't answer the question, is ETH a security or not? And now they've approved the ETF. They contradict each other. It's very contradict themselves. It's very difficult to follow.
Let's not assume that all our investor audience understand what XRP is. XRP is the token or the coin that Ripple, which is a money transaction site, right, that is charged, right?
Yeah.
You get paid in XRP, but it's become something that people can also buy whether they use the Ripple blockchain, right?
Correct. So XRP is a digital asset, not that dissimilar than Bitcoin or ETH. There's different characteristics of each asset. Bitcoin has really become digital gold and it has thrived because of that. ETH, there's a lot of excitement around the smart contracts capabilities. XRP is extremely fast on a per transaction basis and extremely inexpensive. People talk about gas fees and transaction costs of some other tokens. Ripple uses XRP as part of our technical stack to do cross-border payment flows.
And you charge whoever is moving the money,
correct,
what, 0.00001 of XRP, which stands around 51 cents or something right now. But here's my question. Right now, the main competitor in that space is SWIFT. That, of course, is the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Transactions. That's the global one that a lot of people use. They charge much more, do they not?
Yeah, they really are the dominant. I mean, SWIFT has been around for, 50, 60 years. And the frustrating part for all of us as users of SWIFT is that it really hasn't changed in 50 or 60 years. The architecture of how it works It means it's slow, it's expensive, and frankly, it's quite error-prone. Some studies have shown that about 6% of all SWIFT attempts to wire a SWIFT transaction end up in errors that bounce back, and then it takes days to get it back.
What about you guys?
Well, an XRP transaction and a payment flow for us is really real time. It's instant, it's cross-border, and the really powerful thing for a lot of our customers is they don't have to pre-fund accounts, because our customers are financial institutions. And the way SWIFT works is you're pre-funding, you have dormant capital sitting in other banks around the world. Using XRP, using RippleNet, our payments network, you don't have to pre-fund.
When we look at this suddenly coming alive cryptocurrency, at least in the past week or so, so now we've got Bitcoin back above 70,000. Some people are making the connection between that and the Roaring Kitty re-entry into the world, reactivating his account on Reddit and saying he owns $115 million worth of GameStop shares. Do you see any connection between his sudden emergence and all of the cryptos moving higher, like a meme stock feel back in 2021 where people were also diving into crypto?
Yeah, I think this momentum is really driven from what's happening on a political basis. And the United States remains the largest economy in the world, and it has been kind of backwards as its approach to cryptocurrencies. You know, countries like the UK are way ahead, Japan, Singapore, Switzerland. I mean, we are really behind the rest of the world.
And Ripple has offices in many of those cities.
We do. We have 14 offices around the world. And so for me, I think what's really driving the momentum right now is seeing that, you even said this earlier, the voice of crypto, the voice of Ripple, and is really gone up in the conversation in the United States. I think you're seeing shifts.
Well, some of that is money. You yourself, over the past 2 years, have given a total of $50 million to Fair Shake, the lobby firm that cryptocurrency people are really kind of filling the coffers there. And suddenly you have Donald Trump saying, I'm the crypto president. You have Joe Biden making some noise about, you know, come on, lay off the regulations a little bit. You guys suddenly have a voice. You're the kitten that roared in a way.
Yeah. So I think it's less about the roaring kitten and more about, hey, you're seeing some of the political machinery in the United States move and act. And look, we haven't yet seen the Biden administration. They've said some things, but they haven't followed this up with actions. You have seen Trump make this part of his campaign. I think it's incredibly smart and incredibly strategic. This is a topic that has a lot of passionate people. And this is an excitement and enthusiasm that are pro-innovation, pro these technologies, and know that they can be used in ways to protect consumers all at the same time. I think it's crazy that it ever became a partisan issue, but I think that the Republicans are being very strategic in how they're approaching that, and I think it's becoming an election issue, which I think is good for the industry, and thus I think it's driving some momentum in the market.
Brad, we'll be watching. Okay, XRP ETF. When?
I think we're going to see it, I think it'll probably be 2025.
Next year?
Yeah,
all right.
Not too far away.
Good to see you.